Good afternoon. It is 5 o'clock on Tuesday, November 7th. Welcome to the Arts and Culture and Public Facilities meeting. I detect more than a quorum, and thank you all for making it today. Thank you very, very much. We do not have anything on our public comment sign up, so we're going to go ahead and move forward with that. I'm going to call the roll. Councilmember Capp.
Here.
Councilmember Easlick.
Here.
Councilmember Ewing.
Here.
Councilmember Gadd.
Here.
Councilmember Hancock. Okay, absent. Councilmember Taylor.
Present.
Welcome. Councilmember Vo.
Present.
And Councilmember Welsh.
Here.
We have a full house. Hallelujah. So one, I want to congratulate Councilmember Vo for being our vice chair for Arts and Culture and Public Facilities. Thank you so very much for also conducting our last meeting.
I had a lot of help from the team.
Oh, I have no doubt. I have no doubt. I have good taste. You also.
I was here.
Yes, I heard that you also were very helpful. Thank you very much, Councilmember Taylor. So we do not have any items on consent, so we're just gonna roll through, my friends. Starting with Resolution 2023-76, Coupon Porterfield, Stiles and others, accepts an in-kind grant from the Friends of Fort Nashville to the Metropolitan Government acting by and through the Metropolitan Board of Parks and Recreation to fund the purchase and installation of new signage at Fort Nashville.
Move.
And we have, thank you. Do we have a second?
Object.
Don't try it. Fantastic. Okay. Moving on to discussion, because I would like to let our representative from Parks to speak to us in regards to this item. Hi, that's you.
I actually cannot speak to that item. Shanita should speak to that item, and she's not here.
Well, but Councilmember Coupon says that he is able to, so please, Councilmember.
I would love to speak to that item. So it's very, very straightforward. It is a $2,500 grant for the Friends of Fort Nashville to put some signage up outside of the fort. And so they are going to make their selections and then go back to Parks to make sure those fit the site we're looking for, get approved, and that's that.
So I'm going to ask a very random question. Where exactly is Fort Nashville? I've never heard.
It's down here. Oh, yeah, here on the road.
It's like right by the river.
Yeah.
Like
Close
if you're
to
on
you?
Broadway,
Uh-huh.
you take a left.
First Avenue,
Goes all
dead
the way
ends into the river.
First Avenue.
The skinny part where we have historical markers.
And where we have the log cabins and stuff?
Yes.
Log
Yes,
cabin, that's Fort Nashville.
Thank you.
That's Fort Nashville.
We've had events there and no one has ever called it that. They've given addresses. Okay.
On one
Fantastic.
side is Riverside Park, and then
It's like
the other
across from
side is
Acme.
First and Gay.
We're working on it.
Excellent.
But
Well,
anyway.
thank you, Councilmember Coupon, for explaining that to us. Councilmember
Yes.
Vo.
I just had a question regarding signage for parks. Are there specific types of signs that have to be used? Or, I'm just wondering for like the future, just
No, of course.
process.
There's not specific signs, no. There are specific materials that we have to use, just because of the weatherness outside. But other than that, no, there's not specific signs.
Thank you very much. Does anyone else have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, fantastic. Well, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes.
Motion carried.
Why do I feel like saying nay every time someone says something when I'm supposed to?
Because it doesn't happen.
That's my thing, Bill. You're
Oh my God, that's great.
Okay. Our next item is Resolution 2023-77, Porterfield, Ewing, Stiles, and others, accepts an in-kind grant from the Friends of Warner Parks to the Metropolitan Government acting by and through the Metropolitan Board of Parks and Recreation to provide funding for the purchase and installation of a Metropolitan Historical Commission historical marker for the 1811 house in Percy Warner Park.
Move.
Excellent.
Second.
Thank you so very much.
Can I second my own?
Are there any questions, any need for discussion? Parks, would you like to speak to this at all, or you're good on this too? Okay,
Good to go?
well, in that case, all in favor?
Aye.
Fantastic. Motion passes, yay. Our next item RS 2023-78, Gad Porterfield Styles and others, accepts an in-kind grant from the Friends of McKay Park in partnership with the Nashville Parks Foundation to the Metropolitan government, acting by and through the Metropolitan Board of Parks and Recreation, to provide funding for renovation and expansion of the playground, landscaping, and equipment upgrades at the McKay Park Community Center. I love that.
Moved.
Come on, Councilmember Welch. Okay, this is your job, your two jobs today. All right, does anyone have any questions?
I do. Since this is
Councilmember
mine.
Gad.
So I was meeting with the Friends of McCabe on Friday, and I've reached out to get some more information, because we've got, and some of this can be away from this meeting about connecting, like next steps to this, but also is there a certain amount that's being received? They weren't aware.
I am not aware of that.
Okay.
I can confirm
this-
that. You can
yeah.
see tomorrow.
So they were trying to figure out how this has moved through, but I did reach out to legal counsel too, so
Right.
I'll search back with that. Margaret, if you had anything
Yeah,
else.
it looks like it is $400,000. It's an in-kind grant so the $400,000 will go directly into the equipment.
That's-
It's not a cash donation.
Yeah, that's what they had been working on that, but they hadn't got any other information from, so I just need to connect. They've been a little intermittent on who the consistent people from parks to talk to.
It's me.
So that's,
I
now
will
that I
connect
know,
you.
that's
Yes, ma'am.
wonderful. They had a couple of names, so that they've had intermittent.
Oh, well, see,
emails.
that's what committee is for. Great, now we know.
Oh, great. Also, I am fully supportive of this.
Well, excellent, as it is in your district and you have had all your questions answered, all in favor? Any opposed? Fantastic. Passes. Okay, our next one.
First time I've had a response.
Resolution 2023-79, Cash Porterfield Styles and others, accepts an in-kind grant from the Friends of Sever Park to Metropolitan government, acting by and through the Metropolitan Board of Parks and Recreation, to install a new bi-level water fountain and bottle filler at the Sever Park Community Center. I looked right at you. Okay. Sandy's taking a break. Taylor covered for you. Okay.
This is such
So,
pressure, guys.
I'm going to lead off with the question, what is a bi-level water fountain? Or is this
So-
just,
For dogs. Either dogs or tall people and short people.
There's one.
Stop.
People in wheelchairs.
It's true.
There's one for dogs, kids, and then adults.
oh, so it's three
You're
levels?
Both right.
Okay, got it.
And this is actually the second one they're installing. They were planning on installing two, but they only had funds to install one.
Okay.
And now they have funds to install the second.
Fantastic.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll grab one of those chairs. Okay, does anyone else have any questions?
I have a question.
Councilmember Welch.
In this post-COVID age, do people really use water fountains still? I mean, are they getting back to that? Because I know in some areas water fountains are still turned off, that they don't share.
We ought to
The
get back
bottle
to it. It's
filler?
more
My dog
sustainable.
thing is for
Right.
sure.
And I think the bottle filler is, because you're not putting your mouth to it, you're just
Right.
sticking your
But
bottle.
I mean, the actual fountain, are people really using that again? Or just,
I would.
I kind of thought those
So,
were the
wait
going out
one
the
second,
door.
so while we let the parks individual, let us answer Councilmember Welch's question.
So we
I
say,
didn't hear the question. What was the
Do
question?
people use water fountains?
I mean,
Absolutely.
post-COVID, they're
Absolutely.
coming back to
Yes,
it, people are comfortable with it, okay.
Absolutely. And the bottle filters actually have counters on there, for every, I guess it's quart, gallon, or whatever you save. There's a number on there, so it adds to your lead certifications as well.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Perfect.
Good to know. Okay, all in favor? Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me, Councilmember Guy. I mean, vote.
How much does this water fountain cost? Does anyone know?
It's right at 1,300-ish, somewhere in that neighborhood. I think they're asking for, or they're granting 1,500? Is that right? Or
That
is
is
it-
not listed,
It's not
we don't
listed.
have a
It's
cost
not
on here, which
listed.
is why Vice
So
Chair is asking.
Yeah,
The grant is not to exceed $1,500.
yeah, so it's probably about 1,300, all installed, ready to go.
Excellent. Does anyone else have a question? Okay, in that case, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, motion passes. And number 5, RS 2023-80, Kimbrough, Porterfield Styles and others accepts an in-kind grant from the Friends of Bells Bend Park to the Metropolitan government, acting by and through the Metropolitan Board of Parks and Recreation for the stabilization and restoration of the Buchanan House in Bells Bend Park.
Second.
Thank you, Vice. As I say, I don't know what's happening. Councilmember Ewing is now freezing. Okay.
It's, I went on a sugar high
And now we're coming
Now
in.
you're on the other end.
Understood, understood. Are there any questions in regards to this grant? Okay, well, don't talk all at once. In that case, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, any opposed? Delightful, motion passes. And last, we have a bill on second reading, and Councilmember Coopin was here to discuss it. Is he gonna check? Okay. It's BL 2023-73, provides for the designation of public property within specified areas of downtown Nashville as a temporary special event zone during the time period beginning at 9:00 p.m. on December 30th, 2023, and ending at 6:00 a.m. on January 1st, 2024.
Sounds like.
Relative to the use of these areas in conjunction with the 2023 New Year's Eve celebration and related activities and events. And he's not back in the room, so okay. But
Still gonna move it.
It has a, I will say this, if we don't find them, it has an approval in another committee or several other committees, so we may not have to take
And I understand
action.
this happens
Okay.
every year.
it does.
Yeah.
So it's been moved. Does anyone want to second it?
There it is.
Okay, and he's back.
Stop pressuring me.
So here's your first meeting to talk about your special event zone. You wanna share with us what you want?
Sure, we're throwing a big party, y'all are invited. You're all welcome. Yeah, it's a pretty standard special event zone for New Year's Eve for downtown.
Well, we'll think about it. Does that mean we're gonna lose all our common around the county?
Trying something new?
Vice Chair vote.
So, is this for only this year, and so it would be renewed every year?
single year.
Okay.
This will not be the first time you hear this.
Just in case we don't schedule New Year's
okay.
next
Could we
year.
just schedule it to be recurring?
You can't do it recurring?
That seems like it would be very efficient.
What would we do?
Okay.
We're gonna be here next year anyway.
So, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Fantastic. Motion passes. I was waiting for a list from Rosie that I sent her to distribute to our committee to discuss all of the suggestions that you sent to me. And hey ho, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
These are the items that you all gave me about what you would like to address this year. And if you think of something that you didn't submit, we can add it, we can add it today. But I wanted us to have a clear agenda as we go into this year. There are a lot of things that need to be done in regards to arts and culture within the city. And there are several groups that we need to hear from. And Rashad, could I get one of those too? Please and thank you. Appreciate it.
One of the things that I wanted to focus on is to see.
Is your hand,
She can't.
Oh, sorry.
Councilmember Welch, you have a question?
Thank you. One of the things that I wanted to try to focus on this year was
Councilmember Welch is sharing one of her suggestions. Thank you so much.
is increasing some of the funding and coordination between a lot of the programs in the city that help kids, like with TPAC, that program with the library. Because there's been so much trauma with kids from COVID and coming out of that, and kids are facing still a massive amount of trauma. I learned a lot about this the other day at Principal for a day of what these kids are going through. So I'd like to be able to see what we could do to expand that and funding to make some of these things cheaper for the schools, maybe cheaper for families, and expand those offerings.
Can I riff on your suggestion? I'd like to also explicitly address individuals from the exceptional ed program for Metro Public Schools, because often programming implicitly doesn't include them,
Yeah.
because sometimes they have extra needs. So it would be really nice to include that population in our explorations.
Fantastic. That is a great suggestion. Councilmember Gadd?
I would also like to add on libraries on this
Okay.
to actually get to try to understand where we are on prioritization of some
Building?
library buildings. I know we've got
New
Hadley.
construction?
Yeah, Hadley and Richland, other libraries as well. And also they're, and how, I mean, they're central in the book circulation to Metro Nashville Public Schools too. And so that's how MNPS also gets a lot of its work circulated. So I'd love to have kind of understand where we are with
Fair enough.
prioritization.
Councilmember Taylor?
Facilities is the biggest area, I think, in this area of committee. There's a lot of deferred maintenance in the city of Nashville with the properties that we own.
Yeah.
And when we have deferred maintenance, we have bigger problems later down the road. And so if there is a way to receive information in regards to buildings or properties that are owned by Metro that have deferred maintenance, a list of that, what that is, what the cost may be, or just maybe a few bids that they have gotten or tried to get. And then secondly, to piggyback off of new construction, there's some also areas where we're kind of growing too large for, like for instance, the public defenders they don't have enough space. But there's other departments or buildings that we're using that we are growing too large. Or finally, there's other buildings that we're leasing where leases may be coming up. And we, with the movement of development in the city of Nashville, we have not renewed some of said leases, which means that we have nowhere to go after X amount of years. So, why can I, director,
You're talking about
real
Abraham.
property, Abraham.
You're talking about Abraham.
Yes. I did
We
not
can
want to
add
call
this.
his first name, but I can't remember, but yes.
We can add this to the request about available Metro properties. We can combine that into one request. And that's already on the list, so thank you for adding that. And I will say that arts and public facilities, they are equally as large. So,
Can I add something
you
to
knew that was
that
coming.
excellent point? I'm just riffing off other people. I think your point about deferred maintenance is a huge one, and if I recall correctly, when I was in general services, we were working before I left on figuring out how to have a rolling condition assessment of all of our building stocks. So there are like 100 buildings that Metro owns and manages, and that was not accomplished. I don't know if it's been accomplished in the last
The
5
answer to
years.
that is probably no.
But if it hasn't, then that might be something for us to explore with general services.
That is fine. That seems like another combination.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that people would like to add to this list? Okay.
Joy,
Yes,
sorry, Chair.
Councilmember Gates.
Sorry, Chairman, stops. Can we, I think this under the list of properties is also understand where, Parks is on, it's probably maintenance, so maybe I'll list her there, but specifically for, some of our like tennis courts and, some other park infrastructure, so I'd like
That's
to kind
all.
of see,
What
just
the
kind of
plan
highlight
is.
there, yeah, cause I know there's, a lot of upgrades to happen, and so, and like some communities get creative, but they're able to raise funds more than other
It
communities.
depends on the community, yes.
So I know District 24 can raise funds in order to match, but other communities can't. Or
I'm sure we get you a list of all the deferred maintenance we have.
that'd be great, and I'm sure.
So you
It
could,
would
that'd be
include
great.
all-
Can you bring that to, I know you're coming to the next meeting. If
Absolutely.
you could bring that with you, that'd be
Absolutely.
wonderful.
Thank
I
you,
can
Chair.
get with the other divisions and make sure we compile a list.
That's
Perfect.
wonderful.
Thank you very much.
That'd be wonderful. Thank you.
So I will say, yes, Vice Chair.
Thank you. For point 8, I just want to make sure with the Music, Film, and Entertainment Office that we also ensure that there's good representation from film. Some people were just making comments, so I just want to make sure.
It's already applicable, so the way that, so in the creation of the commission, who is responsible for hiring the director, some of the research that was done, that I did in creating the commission, was having a film coordinator and a music coordinator and having an executive director that has enough experience in multiple industries to be over those two coordinators and have an admin. So every, music and film will be represented.
Okay, great.
Okay, so with that being said, guests coming to speak to us to address these issues. I would like to have Metro Arts Director Singh come and visit us to catch some of you up. This year, for the first time in maybe 20 years, we actually added to Metro Arts funding. And we added an additional $2 million. between Women's Caucus and Minority Caucus, and then getting everyone else on board, saying, hey, this is a need. We did give them the funds, unfortunately. On one hand, Minority Caucus was looking for more money to be given to BIPOC organizations. That didn't happen, and so the commission voted to give money to larger organizations instead, over Director Singh's desires. So I would like Director Singh to come and speak to us, to talk about the process. He did do an equity study to justify how he wanted to reallocate funding across organizations in the city. He does have a very robust vision of revitalizing Metro Arts across the entire county that is equitable. And so I think we need to hear from him and figure out how this committee can be supportive. I would also like to hear from the commissioners themselves and also the chair of the commission to figure out what happened exactly there, given what we voted on, what we were very vocal about, and how that fell apart once it got to the floor. Then there was a chair vote asked about the update of city booking systems to be online versus the phone. So we'll need to ask Director Durbin to come in here and explain to us if that can be done with the current system. And it might be something that no one's ever asked about before. That's certainly something that we discovered with translation services, that things just hadn't been asked, and they were possible. So he is a guest. Municipal Auditorium, I'm actually meeting with the chair of that commission tomorrow to talk about the future of municipal and potential renovation. So I will definitely be coming back and sharing that information, but I think he needs to come and talk to us because that is a massive public facility that hasn't been touched in a really long time, and definitely is in need. And also, I would like someone to come from the Music and Entertainment Commission to let us know what's happening on the commission, how they figured out the structure, what that process is looking like, to hire the first executive director for that office. And of course, we can talk about greenways. So I sit on the Cheatham County Rail Authority, which is currently working with greenways. We started working on this project last year, and easements around the train tracks to put in the greenway system so people can actually use them. We're running into some interesting, not really obstacles, but there's a legislative opportunity for us as it pertains to future projects and being close to railroads and what our expectations are, because there are some areas in town where developers have built right up to maybe 5 feet away from a railroad track, which makes zero sense, which is not really helpful for anybody living in that building. I'm not sure what the point is, but I think it's clear that this is an area in which we're gonna need to step in and try and provide some assistance. And then we can also have, given our conversation today on facilities, we can ask Abraham to come. So we can express what our expectations are. I think in our last term, there were several people that had side conversations about wanting to know what the Metro property was that was available, and it never happened. So I think collectively as a committee, that's the request that we need to make, and the expectation is to hold accountability, so we get the list and we know what we're dealing with.
Sounds good.
Director Westcott,
Abraham Westcott.
thank you.
You're welcome.
And Chairwoman Stiles, may we also invite someone from libraries?
Absolutely.
Prior to budget?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's currently Terry Luke, the
Yeah.
interim director, but
Yeah,
yeah,
good. We'll see how,
we'll see what shakes out.
yeah.
Fantastic. Did I miss anything out of these suggestions? Is there anyone else that you would like to see come and present to us about any of these issues? Councilmember Cap.
Well, one of mine is number 4 under greenways, and I guess if I may explain a little bit what I
Please.
had in mind.
Yes.
So, I know we're doing a census of land that Metro owns, and that's ongoing. One of my thoughts is, for like an overall countywide resiliency plan, and also to see what incentives or what programs we could do to promote native plantings on Metro-owned land. And I know that those are spread across like 1 billion departments, and I know that in some sense we don't even have a great, easily searchable census of everything that we own, and obviously things come and go. But that was the very general thought, and I don't know the best department to sort of consult about that, but that was the general idea. both like a land management resiliency plan for the city, everything from stormwater to
That feels
native plantings.
a bit like sustainability items, which if I'm not mistaken is in Metro Water. I think there's someone over there that we could ask to come and talk about that.
Well, also
That seems like a
Kendra
partnership.
Abkowitz is the Sustainability and Resilience Officer, so
Yes.
maybe we could start with her and then work our way.
I have not yet met her. What did you say her last name is?
Abkowitz,
Abkowitz.
Abkowitz.
Okay.
So that's what I had in mind there, but I mean, I definitely, I guess, first of all, curious if anybody else is even interested in that at all before we sink
Yes.
time into it, but.
Oh,
okay.
definitely.
With the amount of people that are
Snowy.
serving on greenways and want to be on greenways, what do you mean, who's interested?
Yeah.
I don't
That's
know.
like a given.
How do I know?
Less snowy.
And then, I know that,
Yes.
returning council members have, a great understanding of what happened with the tree bill last time. But I hope there's some appetite for revisiting some kind of ordinance to protect heritage trees, meaning like big old trees, and also to try to protect as much of our tree canopy as we can, consistent of course with building affordable housing and so
Plus, it
forth.
won't do to have 500,000 tree planting goal and then
So we need to
cut
talk
down a
to
bunch of
Vice
trees.
Mayor Henderson, because that was her jam, so.
Yes, it was for
I spoke to her when I had my meeting, so she's
Yeah.
definitely someone asleep.
Well, so, I'm willing to put in legwork on both of those.
Please.
But not if no one
Me
else
too,
is interested
I'd be
at all.
happy to work with you on
Oh, I love collaborative efforts. Okay, so the two of you are going to work on the heritage tree bill. That's delightful. And libraries, Councilmember Gadd, you're going to speak with Terry Luke.
Yeah, I can reach out to her.
Please, let's do that. And we're gonna make the general request since Metro Parks is also gonna be reaching out, but I'll just make sure before our next meeting, Abraham is also aware that we're looking at a comprehensive opportunity.
For greenways, can we have someone come and talk about, just kind of give us, where we're at, like, in terms of like what, what gaps we have? I'd really like to understand, cause
Gaps in what?
like the greenway, so like, which areas are connected, which ones, are priority, and just have someone come and, present that to us.
The Greenways Commission.
So
can do that.
connect all county greenways, so you want, that's what you're asking about,
I can
yes,
get Cindy Harrison to come
that's fantastic.
speak to y'all for that. She's the assistant director over Greenways.
And at our
Yes.
first commission meeting, they gave us that presentation, the new people system,
You
so
saw
they have
the-
it, yeah, they have that
Great.
in hand. So,
Excellent. So it's feeling to me, we have a lot of work ahead of us, and you'd be surprised how fast a year goes by. But I do think that the things that we have talked about today are doable and can be done concurrently. So I'll start reaching out to the individuals that we want to have present to us. And from there, we can kind of triage what needs to be done next, particularly as we're going into the budget season. I would very much like this committee to have, when we get our budget wish list for the new people, each individual council member gets a budget wish list that they would like to see happen. But caucuses can submit wish lists. We don't have committee wish lists, but it would be nice if we decide on what we'd like to see and we each put that on our budget wish list, and that helps us have the numbers that we need to
Good
get
idea.
things done.
When is the next meeting so I can make sure I have that deferred maintenance?
2 weeks from today.
That's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure with the holidays.
You are okay. Are there any other questions, thoughts, comments, concerns that have not yet been covered? Are we good with this list?
Yes, we're so good.
What about the name? Can we discuss the name?
Too late?
Yeah, see, I just said, are there any more questions? Everyone said, oh, yes, yes, and then here comes Vice Chair vote. Okay, so
Last question.
we did talk about this a little bit. We played with it and laughed about it in the very first meeting. So last term, there was a rush to rename committees and restructure in a very tight time frame, and it was not a comprehensive participation process, and so it got down to being the last meeting of the term a year ago, and we needed to vote on something. And so originally this committee was going to be called arts, culture, and public facilities. And then we got on the floor, and it got flipped to public facility, arts and cultures. And for me, I did stand up against that because public facilities sounds like restrooms, which, right, no one thinks anything good about that. And the fact of the matter is we really deal with a lot of arts and culture and libraries, and those aren't bathrooms. So I would rather have public facilities at the end. If we even use public facilities, maybe it's public venues, right? And that includes all of our buildings. But collectively, we need to agree on that, and we can take it to the Rules Committee and say that we want to change our name. And then we can have that brought to the floor
What was
for
it
the
named
entire.
before? Was it Parks?
Library, parks, arts,
Parks,
yeah.
parks.
And why was that one?
Yeah.
Again, there was a rush to rename at the very
Okay,
end of the
'cause
term.
So-
it's to name what we do.
Add culture, I think you're in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, to
Yeah, and
briefly.
that culture was added in
Library
that
parks.
conversation.
Yeah, there was another,
Councilmember Taylor.
thank you, I'm so sorry. There was another committee that managed, I think, the public facilities and not necessarily the arts piece. And so, we changed some names, we removed some committees, and then we kind of got to this point where we're having these committees. It was a rather quick turnaround, not necessarily highly discussed. It was, I would say, in the midst of a lot of items of discussion that we probably, as a body, felt that were take precedent over committee names.
That sounds a lot like what I said, that it was rushed, and then we voted and we had this name.
And so, we've got that name, but I don't know, and I'm saying this to say, I don't know if a name manages the work.
It doesn't manage the work,
Okay.
but here's what my grievance was before, and it still is my grievance. When people think of things to cut, the first thing they think are arts. And so to me, this was an example of them doing exactly that. So it was arts and culture and public facilities is what made it to the floor for the vote. And then someone came in and said, well, public facilities is really, that's what the city's about, it's public facilities. And I was like, no, arts need to be first, because again, that's you saying arts aren't important. So it does matter, and we do need to lead with what it is that we're here. Well, wait, Councilmember Cap's hand was up first,
You can go ahead if you want.
No, please.
and then
Arts,
Councilmember Gap.
arts, libraries, parks, and venues. I nominate that for consideration.
Okay, say that again?
Arts, libraries, parks, and venues.
Well, libraries and venues kind of fall in the same, but I'm putting it down because it's a suggestion. Parks and venues.
All right, but
Councilmember Gad
it'll
is
be a
next.
building process.
Yes,
I'm just getting it.
Councilmember Gad.
When we get those things up for discussion, I'll discuss my question about venues and a legal term of understanding what that applies to. But do we want something cutesy that has a name? Like, I'm just thinking like arts, parks, library. Anyways, I was just thinking, it's like APAL.
I got you.
Yeah,
C-
we
no,
don't
CALP.
have any acronyms
CALP.
on committees.
Culture,
They're
arts,
all-
libraries, culture.
No, it should,
CAP? Oh my, did you say CAP?
no, it should be scalp.
No, okay, well, anyways, I'll finalize here. I think
Wait,
it's really-
Councilmember
So, but if I can
Ewing
find,
is first.
if I can just finalize, so even beyond that, I think, it is helpful, like some of the core names, so arts, I'm indifferent, and I think I understand your value of having arts first. I'm completely supportive of having all arts culture listed. I think it is helpful in discussing to constituents that the committee involves all these other entities. So I would be for including libraries and parks as part of that name, but I'm also very supportive of having arts first, culture first, so all those good things.
Okay, Councilmember Ewing.
Thank you. Mainly, I just have a question.
Okay.
When we talk about public facilities, and I might have to retract my comment from earlier if the answer isn't what I think. So when we say public facilities, are we talking all of Metro's building stock, or are we just talking libraries, or does it add in schools, does it add in?
Schools isn't us, I mean, that's, we give the money to
Okay.
the school board so that they can manage for
But
schools.
is it like the courthouse? Is
It's
it-
all facilities, like the
Facilities.
juvenile justice center,
So
that's a
maybe we
request,
should
and that's,
throw facilities in there instead of,
So we'll hear.
it's there now.
Oh,
It's
sorry.
It's public, currently it
just
is
haven't
public
seen your moment.
facilities. arts and culture. So, at the end of the day, I just really want to bring arts and culture back to the focus,
Yeah.
because if you tell people it's the Public Facilities Committee, they don't have any clue
clue
from
what it
that,
is, yeah.
that we're dealing with arts, culture, libraries, parks, nothing. So,
She changed it to clap.
what just happened?
Oh, that's good!
That's better.
Bad.
Yeah, that, I
Culture,
mean, my
library.
head went where your head went, sorry.
Easy,
Y'all, I was thinking,
people.
easy.
I mean,
Thank you, Joy.
okay,
Wow.
that's why we're.
This is a back row
It
thing.
isn't like we didn't think it, we just pushed past it, 13-year-olds.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So we're gonna process. We have arts,
Exactly.
libraries, parks, and venues.
I'll withdraw.
Arts.
Nobody
No, you don't have.
No, I do.
That's
No,
not
keep it on
what
the
we're
floor, keep it on the
allowed.
floor.
No.
Arts,
No, I'm
arts,
not.
culture,
Hey, what did they
and
say about
public venues, and
Just
or
walk
arts, arts, culture, and public facilities. We're still keeping public facilities. We're just moving the order around. But I think it is important because
Totally
again,
happy to
arts are
start with arts.
always taken away first.
No, you're
Vice
right.
chair vote
I'd like to add Parks and Rec.
So that's kind of
my
what she's talking
recommendation.
about. She's saying it's been a long time since anybody.
as a name for the whole committee.
Yes, I mean,
It
Yep.
could be, it could be.
well, I guess I know you really want arts in there. Well, it could be arts,
Too bad.
art, Parks and Rec. That doesn't sound so good. I'm trying to put art first, but I like but anyways,
Okay,
that has
You put the R of the Rex and the clapper.
Libraries listed.
clap.
We can't.
Libraries
look,
has to be
I'm with
listed.
you.
It doesn't.
I'm with you.
Easy.
Okay, so I'm gonna write these names down. We'll
Let's
still
keep
mull over them.
wordsmith.
Like
We need to keep wordsmithing.
the point was to start the conversation, so now we've started it. We've got time to think. We can get this done at any point during the year. So,
I never have
Yeah.
enough time to think.
oh my gosh.
Just saying.
Okay. But I think this is a good start.
That's what committee's for.
And understanding where we're going. So I appreciate you all being here today. I really appreciate all of your suggestions. I think we have a lot of good work for us to do, and I'm looking forward to our guests coming. I think it's really important in committee for accountability and conversation to take place. And the more conversation that we can have in here, it lessens what we have to do on the floor. I think in the past, what's happened is we kind of rubber stamped or had a conversation here, and then people were just like, whatever, it happened in committee, but I'm just gonna go ahead and take it to the floor. And that can create more. If we can handle what we need to handle in here, then we have a solid presentation on the floor of this passed, this is why, boom, and people understand it's not up for negotiation. So, thank you, and enjoy your last 20 minutes of freedom.
Thank you.
Thank
To
you.
adjourn. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you, thank you. Meeting adjourned.
Also, is beautiful name, venues. I just didn't think about venues.
But here's